So good afternoon everyone. Today is lecture 15 E524 Digital MOS LSI Circuits. Today is October 6th. So we have talked about various things and we have started the new chapter called Combinational Logic for CMOS technology, by the way. Note that everything which we are making, it's for CMOS technology. Other than CMOS, there are many other technologies are available, but we don't look into that, as CMOS is the prominent one in terms of good output and good yield and the better speed. So that's why like CMOS is the most important technology nowadays. And the most important thing is our title of the subject itself is Digital MOS LSI, where we are talking about the MOS technology. Anyway, so we talked about this, and we also learned that there are following things which needs to be followed to draw a logic gate using a CMOS technology, where power up network and power down network are connected and output is here. This is generally 0 and this is generally VDD, or you can say it's a logic 1 and this is logic 0, and inputs are here, and same set of inputs might be here. Inputs. We also learned that the power up network is only made up with PMOS transistors, whereas these are made up with NMOS transistor. In any of the condition, if it is AND operation, both the transistor will be in series like this. Notably, the all analog people are calling such kind of connection as cascode, by the way, but I'm not going into that. So it's like this in the same like the electrical path. We need to keep two transistors, means it's a kind of series kind of thing. Whereas if it is OR logic, you have to keep both the transistors in parallel to each other. So the only thing over here is if there are A and B inputs, the first one is implementing A and B, second one is implementing A bar and B bar. This is A or B and this is A bar or B bar. So there are many ways to make logic gates, but one of the easiest technique which we have already talked to power up and power down network. So just for completeness, let's make NAND gate. Okay, you also can try along with me. So in NAND gate, we can try with, first of all, the F is actually A and B, which is equal to A bar or B bar, and F bar is nothing but A dot B. In this case, you need to make the power up network with the PMOS devices where the OR logic is there. So both the transistors will be in parallel and they are connected to VDD, whose inputs are A and B. Notably, like because of the bubble, the effective input going into this transistor is A bar and this side is B bar. Both are in parallel, so it's A bar or B bar. So that's fulfilled, and other side is going to be in the series one, where A and B will be here and the output will be taken from here. This was just a just for the previous thing which we have studied. So this is like a revision of that. You can try maybe another function which is like A B bar plus maybe B C, let's say. So in that case, if I'm making the F bar is going to be equal to A bar or B dot B bar or C bar, I need to implement this. F will be implemented with the power network. So I need two transistors in series to implement this one. So this is require A bar and this is required as B. And in shunt with this one, I'm going to keep two more transistor in series, which are PMOS, whose inputs are B bar and C bar, so that BC will be implemented. And other side, I need two more logic which will be ended up. So in that case, I need to have two logics A bar and B in parallel to implement this first part. To implement second part, you require B bar and C bar. So that will give you the output. I guess nobody has doubt in this one, right? Okay. Is there anybody who has doubt? No doubt, then we can move forward. Okay. If there are no doubt, we can go further, where we are talking about the data pattern. So what pattern you are giving to your inputs A and B, or maybe different inputs, depending on that, output will show the response, and accordingly the data can the delay can be changed. The main concept over here is, if you understand the whole thing, when we are making any logic gate, our primary specification is actually the delay. I want as small delay as possible as I can. Second one is the switching threshold. Or you can say that delay, rise time, fall time, settling time, everything with respect to the jitter, all these things are, or maybe delay, all these things are associated with the time only. Then switching threshold, then noise margin, high and low, right? So all these things are very important for us. On top of that, we also want the device which is not going to hit up very fast. Like, I don't like a mobile which is going to consume more power as I'm talking more. So that way, like, we need the low power device which has very good speed. Like, in total, this decide that the speed is excellent. So we are everything we are working on better speed. Like, you are looking for maybe the better processor who has better speed. So with the time, you are doing the things in maybe in parallel, quad-core processor or maybe other processor also you are using. In that, we all needs the higher speed. Means delay is lesser, rise time, fall time, everything is within our budget. So all these things are required. So this is the fundamental thing. So everything is depending on the fact that what kind of data patterns are there. So those pattern is going to decide the delay also. So sometimes this delay might be higher or lower. It depends on how you are giving this A and B inputs. So this was one of the fact. Other than that, if you remember, or when we are doing the sizing, now let's go back to what we have done in SIMICA. If you remember that an inverter, I wanted to have the switching threshold exactly at middle. So what I have done to achieve the switching threshold voltage as middle means like this. It's both I wanted to have it as VDD by 2. Notably, y-axis is V out and x-axis is V in. So in that case, what I did following. I need to find out the resistance looking in upside and downside, both are equal. And for that, I did a small experiment. I ran the parametric and I found out that at what value of P width, for the fixed value of like 1 micrometer by 130 nanometer, we did it as a fixed one, and we changed P width with respect to 130 nanometer. So we run the parametric and we check that whether we are getting here VDD by 2 or not. Whenever we are getting the VDD by 2, we stop. And that number we found out for 130 nanometer in SimMicra as 1.55. By the way, this number has to be the ratio of mu p and mu n, right? So mu p is, sorry, it's a reverse of that. Mu n is actually bigger. So mu n by mu p. This ratio is going to tell us that how much bigger value of width I need to keep it here so that both the resistances will be equal, because rest of the things are exactly same. So in that case, we have to just make sure that with the some factor of value which is going to give me the same resistance. We found out in SimMicra it was 1.55. So this is one number, you can keep it in your mind. I'm using following books like Rabe and Weste and Harris. So this is another book which I'm going to follow for. People are able to hear me? Are they with us? Are you able to hear me, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
Yes, sir.
now we can hear you,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So you are with me till here, no problem, right? SimMicra is showing the ratio of like these two resistances as 1.555, right? You are here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So in this book, Weste and Harris, which was written in almost in 97, and during that time, they have found out that this ratio is 2. So this book is following the ratio of 2. Okay. Some books are following ratio of 3. Some books are following the ratio of 2.5. But these ratios are depending on the technology. Let's assume that the ratio is 2. We are going to assume the ratio of 2 for the better understanding. So what I mean to say, if I want to achieve equal resistances, if this is W by L, I am going to keep here 2 times W by L of NMOS. So W by L of PMOS, I am going to multiply with 2 so that switching threshold and subsequently rise time and fall time will be equal. This also makes sure that rise time and fall time are equal because its switching threshold is actually exactly half. So let's assume that this is what we are going to say, and I normalize these numbers with W by L of NMOS, and I'm going to call this one as 1 and 2. If this is 1, this is 2. I need to multiply that with respect to the NMOS. Okay. Now let's move to the next one where the important term is sizing. So when I'm talking about the sizing of the transistor for combinational logic or maybe flip-flops or anything, I need to change the W by L of the respective transistor. One more thing, we also learned that as you are going to increase width, the resistance is going to decrease, but at the same time, the effective capacitance is also increasing because capacitance is nothing but W times L times the respective capacitance. So as you are increasing W, the resistance is decreasing, but capacitance is increasing. So you need to find out the trade-off so that this RC time constant is the one which you want. Otherwise, what will happen, like as you are increasing this, capacitance is also increasing. So you might not decrease the propagation delay, but you, in the other way around, you will decrease that. Sorry, you will increase that. Okay. So in that case, let's assume that this is one gate is there. So if I want to find out which gate it is, I can look at the power down network. Both the values are in parallel, so I can write down it's A or B, but as this is connecting to 0, I need to write down bar. So this is a NOR gate, right? And I need to find out the sizing of this particular logic gate. So I can redraw this. Let's, for your better understanding, we can redraw this over here. So here it's A, here it's B, here it's A, here it's B. It's NOR gate, hence A or B with complement of that one. That is the function. So we have to understand that we have spent lots of time on inverter, and inverter is the actually standard circuit which we are going to consider that with considering that one, we are going to design other combinational logic or any of the circuit which we want. So what principle the inverter says that power up network and power down network are going to have the equal resistances. So if I'm looking this side and looking at this side, both will have equal resistances and equal capacitances, so that the rise time, fall time, and the switching threshold all will be like both the things will be same, and switching threshold is going to be equal to VDD by 2. Means input of VDD by 2, the output is also VDD by 2. So this is only possible by fixing the fact that if this is 1, as per the book of Weste and Harris, I'm saying it's multiplied by 2. This one is multiplied by 2. This one is 1. So same thing we are going to apply over here to find out the sizing of this particular combinational logic gate. Let's assume that this is a power down and this is a power up network. I know that power down network resistance has to be 1 and power up network has to be 2, just to make sure that mu and mu p ratio is remain same, so that like the output will have the switching threshold exactly at VDD by 2 and rise time and fall time will be equal. So this can be guaranteed with this one. By the way, just for those people who forgot that, for SIMICA, if you want to do that for 130 nanometer, we are going to do it with the 1.55. And you know that how I found out that number. You can follow my lecture number 13, just if you have any confusion. Anyway, so if I want this, in that case, look, this is very important question. Generally, like those who wants to CMOS or digital semiconductor in the industry, people are asking this as a question. So I'm asking you same question to you people. I'm not giving you answer right away. So there are two possibilities I have. One is this one and one is this one. Okay. So if two transistors I'm keeping in parallel, look at this. If I'm keeping two transistors in parallel, I'm asking you if I am drawing an equivalent transistor combining both of them. So what should be the W by L of the equivalent transistor? And same for this one also. Anyone can guess? Somebody might have studied somewhere.
2W by L.
2W by L. What's your good name? Sorry.
Sir Srinivas.
Srinivas. Yes, Srinivas. Okay. So Srinivas, you already know the answer. I was expecting this from some MTech. Anyway, so how did you get this answer? This is the correct answer, by the way.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I am confusing with the gate connection. In the gate connection should also be connected or not, sir?
Okay, let's make both of them same, if you like that way. Actually, A and B are the connection where like both were equal.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Means logics are same.
For the series connection, will it be W by 2L?
Yes, Raman, you are also right in this case. So both the answers are correct, but do we know the reasoning behind this? Why it is 2W
Sir,
by
if
L?
we write the current equations, we can take all the other things in common, and then we
Very
can,
nice. Yeah. So you are saying that if this is I, this is I by 2, this is I by 2 for equal value of W by L. In that case, to get that I by 2, this width needs to be doubled, right? Then this will become double 1. And when you are doing this, this will be here, right? So similarly, for this one, as Srinivas has told, you can write down the current equation and you can keep these values. So in the series one, the channel length is getting doubled, and in this one, width is getting doubled. Note that this is one of the interview question, and one should not miss that. So as I'm keeping so many transistors in parallel, it's actually N times W by L. And in another case, if there are so many transistors like this, it's N times, it's W by N times L, right? Please keep this in mind. Okay. Now, one more question here. Okay. So effectively, if you are keeping one particular transistor, and if you are keeping two transistors, the width is increasing, then what is going to happen to resistance, by the way? Somebody can tell me whether it will increase or decrease. Keeping transistors in parallel.
Or it will decrease.
It will decrease, right? And it will decrease by the value of N, right? And similarly, here it's a reverse of that. The resistance value is increasing and increasing by N. Okay, very nice. If you understand this, because this is the fact we are going to use to find out the sizing, and we also understand that, okay, where is that? So, okay, maybe if there is a NOR gate, where inputs are A and B, and this is VDD, this is A and B. So now I need to find out the sizing. So if I know that the two transistors are coming in, like they are actually OR one, means either of the transistor will be on in the worst case. In the base case, maybe both the transistors will on. So I'm looking at the condition when one of the transistor is on. Means if both of them are W by L of N, both of them are same value, means 1 and 1. As you know that I am keeping the ratio with the normalized to the W by L of NMOS. So I can write down 1, 1. So in that case, what value of transistors I need to keep here? Look at this. The power down network is 1. I'm expecting to have power up network 2, 2. So what value of W by L I need to keep here? If I am considering that these are 1, 1. Any answer? You can guess also, no problem. Do you understand my question or no? Are they with me or no?
4, sir?
Yeah.
Is it 4, sir?
Is it?
4 W by L, sir.
4.
Yes, sir.
This one is 4, this one is 4. Okay. Any other guess from anyone else? Do you agree with this one?
So it should be 8.
Okay.
Yes,
One,
sir.
one answer
Yes,
is
sir.
4-4. One answer by like both the Raman. One
Sir,
is Raman
8-8.
Soni. Raman
Yes, sir.
Soni has given 8-8, right? Okay. Any other guess?
Sir, 8-8.
8-8 is I kept it. Any other answer than this one? Okay. So why 4-4? The one who gave the 4-4, can you give the reasoning behind this? Why it is 4-4? Yes, Raman. Why it is 8-8? No.
Sir, the effective resistance of the above half should be half of the previous one, so the ratio should be twice. And as it is as it is in series, so their W by L ratios will add, will be get divided by 2, and hence we need it
So
to be,
effective resistance becomes 4, by the way, right?
yes.
When both are here. So this becomes 4. Effective one transistor has a resistance of like this is as 4, but this side it's 1. I wanted to make it 2, right,
Sir,
Raman?
sir, they said they are in parallel, so it will,
Oh,
yeah.
look, I told you that these are in parallel, but in the best case, only one branch is on. Here I can't do that, right? Any one of the transistor is off, like things are gone, right? So both the transistor has to be on to make this path going from VDD to ground. But for making this, any one of the branch is good enough, right? So in that case, I can take this one as 1-1 and this one as 4-4. What you are saying is also correct. Sometimes it is required that you are more interested in the condition when both the transistors are on, but it does not require, right? Any one of the transistors is on, output is 1. Even if both are 1, output is 1, like output is 0, right? So that way we need to see if it is OR gate or the OR logic, we need to consider only 1, right? So here it will be 4-4 and here it will be 1-1. Okay. So this is what we have done right now, that we make sure that the resistance offered by like upside and the downside both are equal, so that the output is actually having the equal switching threshold. By the way, what Raman has told just now, if you are taking this condition when both are 1 with keeping both of them 1-1, in that case his point is right, it is 8-8. But in this case the problem is this is only happening once, right? There are basically you have 4 possibilities, right? In these 4 possibilities, actually this possibility occurs only once. So you are designing only for one combination of the A and B, but what I am designing, it's actually not for one, but it's for actually three logics, because first logic is 0-0 when both are A and B are on. So this is 1, 0 and 1 means second one, and 1 and 0, that's the third one. So I'm not designing for the fourth one, but I'm designing for 3 different logics where are looking in up direction and down direction are same. So it's
Sir,
yeah.
sir, but in the last 2 cases means 0-1 or 1-0, there will be up network. This will be not open circuit.
No, one of the transistor is off, right?
Yes, sir. One will be off. Then that
So it's yeah. So in
one
that
will be
case,
short circuit and other will be open circuit. Then how will be circuit complete?
so then like in that case, it is from here, right? Okay, maybe you missed this one, that if it is an inverter, either of the side will be connected to the load capacitor, right? So in one case, it's charged to VDD, and in one case, it's charged to 0. So here, the condition when one of the transistor is off on the top side, it's actually not connected to VDD, but it's going to be connected to 0. So look, there are very few conditions where both like the output is connected to VDD by 2. If you want that, then you have to apply some other inputs, not logic 0 and 1. You understand my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in that case, here to cover most of the logics, we are generally taking this. But your point is right. If we are doing this one with 1 1 and 4 4, actually we are not taking care of the last logic. But here there is one more point. The whole VLSI industry works on one fact that we are going to make everything smaller, as smaller as possible. So when you are taking this one 8 8, this is not the smaller solution and not the optimum in terms of many logic inputs. So that's why we don't prefer this one and we are preferring this one, right? So in that case, we have availability of the resistances which are both sides are equal. So now let's assume that I want to find out TP LH. So somebody can help me to find out TP LH, the equation. In that case, look, these two switches are on, by the way. So can you tell me now TP-LH for such condition when A bar and B bar both are 0 actually?
Sir, RP into
Yes.
C int
RP into C int. Yeah, very nice. Please go ahead.
plus
Plus
2 RP into C
2 RP times CL. Everything will be
into
multiplied by 0.69. Okay. And similarly, you can find out the other way around where both the resistances are actually in parallel. So it will be Rn by 2 times CL, right? That's the TP HL. When both the transistors are on. Similarly, you can find out the TP HL and TP LH in other conditions where like the switches, one of the switch is connected, one of the switch is not connected, and so on. And accordingly, you can find out this propagation delay, right? Okay. Similarly, let's assume that, can you tell me which gate it is, by the way? What is the name of this gate?
ABCD or bar.
So what is that?
NAND gate.
NAND gate.
NAND.
Yeah. Okay. So it is NAND gate. Now I want to make power down network and power up network the size in such a way that both the resistances will be equal. And we also understood that if the transistors are in parallel, we are going to consider them only one. So each one of them is actually 1. So in that case, what value of M4, M3, M2, and M1 I need to keep? Sorry, I made a mistake. Rather than this, we should start from here. Okay, it will give the wrong answer, or it will be the fractional answer. Okay, so I want power down network as 1 and power up network as 2. So what value of M1, M2, M3, M4 will be there? If I keep all of them as 4, 4, 4 each, this will become 1, right? So in that case, what value of M5, M6, M7, and M8 are required?
Sir, 2.
2. Right? Because 2 are coming in parallel. Okay. One more question I am going to ask. Let's assume that everything is normalized with W by L of N. Till now you understood from these numbers which I am writing. Can you tell me what will be the input capacitance Just looking at the power down network. Okay, let's make this question maybe another way. If I am looking into this, if this is 4, what will be the capacitance? So the capacitance is actually, if you remember the whole thing, you can keep all these things, and there'll be bigger Cox, then other than that, overlap capacitance. All these things will be visible over here. 2 overlap capacitance, 1 capacitance here, Cox, CGD, CGS. So as it is 4, you know that 4 times W times L, whatever it was given, times value of capacitance will be there. With the prime, keeping this on top, means this is per unit area, and this is with respect to multiply by area. So if I want to normalize this to whole thing, I can say that it's a capacitance. Looking into this one is 4 times. Capacitance is also 4. This side is also 4. This side is also 4. At the gate, everywhere 4. But if you're looking here, it's 2 each. I'm writing this again. It's a normalized with respect to the capacitance, the total capacitance looking into the gate. Let's call this one as gate capacitance multiplied by W times L times whatever the number you are adding here. So let's call this number as N or N1. So this whole thing is normalized with this one. So this is what I'm writing here is N1. So it's directly proportional to the number which we are taking in terms of the ratio. So if this ratio is 4, the input capacitance looking into this gate is 4. Similarly, for this one is 4, and so on. And for these case, those are 2 each. Okay. These are just numbers. We are going to use it in future very soon. Okay. Similarly, like you can write down this TPHL and TPLH both, right? TPLH is also possible to write. Somebody can tell me what will be the TPLH, by the way, in this case, when all the switches are on, by the way. Somebody can tell me what is TPLH? Let's consider this one as CL. Yeah. Srinivas, where is Srinivas? Okay, so
I'm here, sir.
yeah, so tell me, what is TPLH?
Not sure, sir.
Okay, give me wrong answer. It's okay, fine. Wrong answers are also fine.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please. Anybody can answer. No problem.
R5 parallel R6 parallel R7 parallel R8
Yes.
into CL.
Into CL, and whole will be multiplied with 0.69, right? Because all the resistance is very in parallel. Okay, I believe that still you people have some doubt, right? Okay, it looks like that. Okay, I'm drawing. So there is a function which looks like this one. Where I'm drawing the equivalent model of this one. It will be like this, right? let's assume that all the resistances are equal. And whenever you are seeing some kind of node, you need to keep one more capacitance also. Let's call this name is C internal. You know that how to find out. Okay, now I want to find out TPHL. I'm writing this high to low because these particular switches are going to be on such a way that this output will go to 0 after some time, and that time needs to be find out. That time we are going to define it as a TPHL. So can we try one more time? This is also R1. Somebody can try TPHL in the only power down network.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please tell me.
R1 C input.
R1, okay.
C
int, okay.
plus R equivalent हो जाएगा सर इसका 3 by R
Okay, you can
equivalent
make it this is R1 by 2 plus R
3 by 2 R1 CL.
Yeah, 3 by 2 R1 CL
CL.
multiplied by 0.69. This is saying Elmore delay. We are calculating Elmore delay. Okay, if you found out that, now we want to find out TPLH. We are calling it TPLH because now the output terminal will be connected to the high voltage. So in that case, I'm calling this one also R1, and these are A, B, and C. Now somebody can help me to write down TPLH.
So
Somebody can, yeah, please.
2R1 parallel to R2.
Okay, one more thing, I forgot to add one more capacitor because it's a floating node is actually C internal, or some capacitance will be there. Yeah. So now tell me.
So R1 into C internal. Twice of R1 into C internal.
Twice into, okay. You are saying this one, 2R1 times C int. Okay, then?
Plus 2R1 parallel to R2 into CL.
2R1 in parallel to R1 in CL. Is it correct, right? Or something is problem?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, so there are two nodes I can see, 1 and 2, right? So at the first node R1, at the first node 1, there is a capacitance C int. Going from here to here, as per the Elmore delay, this is input to output path, and we are till here only, so input to 1. So whatever the resistance coming in actually on the same path, the subset of that resistance is going to be kept over here. So in that case, it's only R1, right? Okay. If we are looking at other side, which is CL, where input to output path is already drawn over here, no problem. But looking at the resistances on this path is going to be how much, as already told by 2R1 plus R1 times CL, in shunt with R1 times CL, right? This is the resistance coming onto the path, right? So multiply by 0.69, that's the TPLH. Now let's moving forward. I suggest all of you to go through Elmore delay. Elmore delay is very important. If you are having any doubt, please go through my previous lecture, which is already kept on YouTube. Elmore delay is the fundamental thing. Most of the time you will get many questions from Elmore delay. Okay. So now, concluding the first particular topic of the combinational logic, how to design the combinational logic, how to understand that design techniques to achieve the large fan-in are as follows. For the large fanning, you have to have the bigger size of transistor, so that propagation delay is getting reduced, with the fact that increasing W by L means increasing W is going to decrease the resistance, but at the same time it's increasing the capacitance also, right? So it's a trade-off, but we have to make sure that things are happening this way. One more thing, if you are reading this, if the load capacitance is dominated by the intrinsic capacitance of the gate, widening the device only creates self-loading effect. If you remember, I told you that if nothing is drawn at the output, means if it is like this, input and output. So if you are not drawing any load capacitance, does not mean that this particular transistor, this particular gate does not have any capacitance at the output. Actually, there are many, right? So looking here, there are capacitance which are diffusion one. Those are going to be there, and maybe this overlap. So in presence of the high frequency model, you are going to experience that there is a big parasitic capacitance which is coming because of the high frequency model of PMOS and NMOS. But note that this is not the only thing. This might be going to be connected to the next level of logic gate. Means if I am doing this, the input capacitance of the second logic gate and the output capacitance of the first logic gate, I should write down C out of 1. The combination of both of them will act as a load capacitance. So generally, when we are keeping the load capacitance, we are assuming that that is the capacitance coming from the next level. I should write down, okay, rather than this, I should assume that Cin2 is equal to Cl, where Cin2 is nothing but the capacitance from the input side of the next stage. So this is acting as a load capacitance. So we have to make sure that whatever the parasitic capacitance is actually created, it's much lower than the load capacitance. If it is not there, then this C parasitic is going to dominate, and maybe the load capacitance will not work. I mean to say that if you have a situation where there is a bigger tank of capacitor and then smaller tank of capacitor, if I want to transfer this logic from here to here, keeping the fact that the value of this potential should not move further down, but when you are having the smaller capacitance, it's possible that this particular potential or the height will be changed a little bit, but because of the noise margin, you will be saved. But if it is a reverse one, or you can say that if it is a bigger capacitance than this one, then you cannot achieve the exact logic level. So you have to make sure that the capacity of the next particular level has to be more, so that it does not create a problem. Or even if there is no capacitance is considered, the capacitance offered by the transistor itself in a high frequency model, self-loading effect should not be occurring. If it is occurring, then you have to take it into account accordingly. And of course, those things will change the propagation delay, and consequently it will change other timing specifications as well. Okay. The next thing is progressively increase the transistor size. That is also one of the way, if you are not keeping all of them equal ratio. So as I told you, like I was keeping all as equal, or maybe if there are mn, then all I'm keeping n, n, and n. all keeping in such a series combination, equivalently, it's going to give me 1. But instead of doing this, if I make such kind of transistor progressive transistor sizing, what is going to happen is, you know, so there are various resistances are there. They are working on the input. Let's call this one is in 1, this is in 2, this is in 3, in 4, and so on. So when my output is making the connection, I want that this resistance has to be as low as possible because it's connected at the last one. And similarly, this has to be the second one, who is actually smaller than, bigger than this guy. So in that case, if I am increasing this W by L, so W by L of 1, 2, 3, and 4 are kept such a way that this one has the highest W by L, this is little bit smaller, this is little bit smaller, and this is the smallest one. If you are doing this, means this is having the smallest resistance, means R1 is smallest, R2 is little smaller than that, R3 is small, and R4 is the smallest one, right? So that is how, like, you can go further and you can design it. So this is what the progressive transistor sizing is about. So where you have the large fanning possibility. One more thing is, rather than giving in 1, in 2, and in 3. So if you know that by the way, okay, just for my information, do you know following codes, just for my information? Okay, do you know all of the codes? You know binary, right? You know binary, right?
Binary and gray, we know, sir.
Gray code you don't know. Then please.
So we know
go through it.
binary and gray.
Okay, you know binary and gray, but you don't know about thermometric code, huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it the fact with everyone or only with these MTechs? What about MTech CSP and BTechs?
So don't know the term.
Okay, so Raman, you don't know thermometric. Okay, so thermometric is very, very simple. I'll give you one example very quickly. Let's assume that there is a tank. I need to find out its different levels. So wherever I'm keeping this mark, actually I'm attaching one sensor over here, which is going to tell me that whether that level has reached over there or not, right? So let's call this one as T0, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, and T7, right? And inside this, there is some liquid I'm going to fill. So if it is going to reach T0, means if my level is here, so whenever this is reaching, like going up, this is going to give me 1 and others are going to give me 0. You see? So effectively, this code is 1 and all 0. You see? 1 and all 0. Now, if I'm going to increase further, maybe beyond T1, I can call this one 1, 1, all 0. Notably, this level which I am writing here, it's not binary. Look, the output is, the logic is binary, means the output in terms of amplitude is binary, but in terms of time, it's not binary. Note that there are 8 levels are given, and as you are going to increase progressively, as the water is increasing, you can see that you are increasing these beats, and there are possibility that you will have only such combinations, right? You can see here T0 is 1, like there is no possibility that it's like this. If you want to see output like this, it's not possible, right? So it's only possible that you can have this kind of output. By the way, when we are increasing this, such kind of output is known as thermometric. The way thermometer is increasing the liquid, the 1 and 0 is going to get increased, and here you can see that it's diagonally increasing, right? And there are 8 combination, means I can create 3 different bits which are binary from these 8 combinations. So I can create B0, B1, B2 from here, with the fact that, look, the 0th bit has become 1. I am going to call that one as 0, 0, 0. If 2 are on, I am going to call it 0, 0, 1. If 3 are 1, I am going to call it 0, 1, 1. And I can write down the whole truth table. Notably, such kind of circuit which converting this code to this code means thermometric to binary. Have you seen such circuit in your digital electronics book? Have you studied this, right? What is the name of the circuit?
Priority decoder.
Not priority. There is nothing like priority. It's called encoder, right? It's called encoder, whose input is thermometric code. If you remember, 2 raised to n encoder, and the reverse of that, which is binary to thermometric, it's known as decoder, which is n cross 2 raised to n, where n is the number of inputs or the number of bits, I would say that. So if it is 3, this will be 8 cross 3, this will be 3 cross 8, and accordingly you can design it for more, right? So this is very important sometimes, that your code is not actually coming in the way you want. You might have the thermometric code. In that case, you might need to keep the inputs such a way that some of the transistors are getting on progressively. So that's why thermometric is important, and that is what is required, and you need to make sure that that input reordering is also possible. So that's why these codes are important. So which code is coming, you need to follow the reordering accordingly. Sometimes some of the algorithms are already invented for such a reordering system. If you remember, we have learned one of the algorithm during the stick diagram. So there are algorithms for making such a circuit automatically. But the crucial part is you can use the reordering and you can get the output. And the last one is you can reconstruct the logic. Here the problem is, look, you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 inputs. So when there are 6 inputs, these are not going to be the efficient one. So it's a big gate. Afterwards, NOT is kept. So it takes lots of time to propagate this logic from this input to the output, right? And this will also have some propagation delay. So in that case, the easier way might be like you can reconstruct the logic like this. The best logic is the one when you have the minimum number of inputs, and if you are keeping them in parallel, you actually make the propagation delay better, because in 6 input NOR gate, your input propagation delay is much worse than what you have in 3 input. So that's how you can reorder it and reconstruct the logic such a way that the lowest propagation delay and the large fan-in can be achieved. Okay, so that's all for today. Maybe on Wednesday we are going to talk about the further using logical effort.